Hello, my friends. I am here for Ask Ashley Live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'm Ashley Jangro. I am a mental wellness coach that helps moms build their strength, learn the strategies, and get the support they need to raise mentally strong kids. I'm coming in hot today. I'm 7 minutes late. That's because I have been spending my morning filling out a psychological evaluation form. I am going in tomorrow for a long, all day appointment to complete the very last step in the evaluation process of determining whether or not I am eligible to be a kidney donor. I've talked about this 1,000 times in different venues, but I am donating my kidney to my dad. I'm not technically a match, but we are part of a program where they can pair us with other individuals who need a kidney and have a kidney and also aren't a match. So we kind of do like a crisscross switch swap thing. Or if there is not a situation like that, then what I can do is donate my kidney, be a living donor. And my dad is eligible then to get a voucher where he can leave the wait list where he is 9 years, 7 to 9 years out from getting a kidney and become eligible immediately. So I'm really excited to go tomorrow. But what it's meant for me this week is pages and pages and pages of forms. It's meant tests. It's meant some tests that I probably shouldn't even talk about when I'm live because they're not appropriate, but also blood tests and urine tests. And anyway, I just finished my psychological evaluation. I got very caught up in the always and nevers and the double negatives. And it took me a little bit longer than I thought it would. So I'm excited to see the results from that. But what was so noticeable about this for me today was how different my answers are today than they would have been 5 years ago. They're dramatically different. And I talked a little bit about this in some of the different videos I made this week, but the big difference for me has come from life coaching, has come from what I've learned in life coaching, which is that my thoughts create all of my feelings. My feelings drive my actions, and my actions ultimately determine what results I'm getting in life. I had never learned this before, that I had always learned that my feelings exist, that they can't be helped, that they mean something, that they hold some meaning, that they're revealing some pattern about my life. I felt that if I had a feeling, it needed to be acted on. If I was angry, if I was sad, if I was down, I needed to do something, I needed to change it. I had never learned that, first of all, feelings sometimes just exist and aren't emergencies and can just be accepted, allowed, and we can remember that they'll pass eventually. But the bigger thing is, I had never realized that my thoughts were creating those feelings, and that I could look at my life and see how I was acting, what actions I was taking, and know that all those actions were being driven by an emotion, that I could identify what that emotion was that was driving those actions and walk backwards into, well, what's the thought that's generating that emotion? So I realized that if I was getting angry with my kids more often than I wanted, in my mind, that was because they were doing something wrong. My anger was justifiable and it meant something needed to be changed in our household. It didn't occur to me that I could walk backwards and say, okay, I see that I'm getting angry. I'm yelling at my kids more often. The feeling is anger. Where's that anger coming from? And then I could investigate that thought. I could investigate whether or not that thought was even true, whether or not I liked who I become when I was having that thought, who I became when I was having that thought, and if I wanted to hang on to that thought or not. I realized that I could shift my perspective and have a new thought, and it would generate a different emotion, and then I would take different actions. This blew my mind because it meant that I could create the life I wanted. It meant I could do anything because I could identify what emotion I needed to have to take an action, and then identify the thought that I needed to have that emotion, and then work towards believing that thought. This has impacted every area of my life, from parenting to relationships to my weight to how I handle money to just everything, to whether or not I lose my temper, to whether or not I'm enjoying the moment I'm in. But the big thing that really drew my attention this week and on this test was how it impacted my relationship with alcohol. I mentioned in a video I made earlier this week that I used to feel uncomfortable with how much I drank. I don't think I was ever necessarily physically dependent on alcohol. Maybe I relied on it a lot to avoid having certain emotions, but I really felt like I was in that gray area. I wasn't someone who needed to call myself a full blown alcoholic and needed to avoid being around alcohol for the rest of my life. And thinking that that was my only option, in fact, prevented me from ever looking deeper into it, from ever investigating. I've mentioned a lot of times also that several years ago, my daughter started struggling with her own mental health. When that was the case, and I struggled to get the support she needed for her, that I needed to have for her, I went back to school and started my degree in counseling. Um, During that, a lot because of the pandemic, I was not able to complete my internship for the counseling program. A lot of things happened in regards to that. But a while back, I ran across, or when I was in the program, and I was in an addictions class, and I ran across life coaching as a solution for addictions. I don't think that's the way it was presented, but it was presented as like an alternative for individuals who are in that gray area, feeling like they did something, in this case, it was drinking, that they didn't want to, but felt powerless to stop it. So I started listening to the podcast, and I started understanding what the basis of life coaching was, which was that your thoughts generate your feelings drive your actions, and your actions determine your results. And I was so fascinated by this. Over many, many months, this resulted in me finally getting to a place where I felt in control of how much I drank, where I did not ever, and still don't ever, overdrink without needing to ever avoid being around alcohol, without craving it. It just doesn't factor into my life anymore. I just forget alcohol exists. That meant that, first of all, I had to interrupt that reward system that my brain had created because alcohol was giving me a dopamine hit. It meant, second of all, that when I was not having alcohol, I needed to learn different strategies for managing the emotions that came up. Because my solution for a long time had been, I feel anxiety, I drink. I feel tired, I drink. I feel bored, I drink. And so I had to learn to manage those emotions. And that, to me, was a much bigger part of this process than just overcoming the physical cravings for alcohol. So all of this to say is, while I was taking this psychological evaluation quiz, it just really felt empowering to realize that does not even factor into my life anymore. And it really got me thinking about all the ways worrying about how much I drank was impacting me, all the things it was robbing from my life. I started thinking about all the creative energy I have to put into my business, to put into my clients now, to put into my parenting, to put into how we're going to have fun this weekend. I have so much creative energy because I'm not ruminating on, do I drink too much? Should I feel guilty about this? What did I do that I don't even necessarily have a super clear memory of? I don't have to spend any time thinking about those things. So I have all this creative energy to put into something else. And it brought me back to how, though the program that I'm currently promoting, I'm currently looking for beta testers for mentally strong moms. The program's designed to really address mom's mental health so that she can become the solution she needs to be to address her child's mental health struggles. Whether or not the child's struggling, it could be just to prevent that from becoming a struggle in the future. But it brought me back to how, when I was really focused on my own mental health, when I was really focused on changing my habits around drinking, when I was really focused on addressing these different things that I learned I could address with life coaching, my daughter's mental health improving was a side benefit that I never anticipated. I didn't realize that by growing on my own, her mental health was going to improve dramatically because she started emulating the strategies that I was using, because we would have conversations that made her think differently, and because of this function of our brain called mirror neurons that meant she was going to do what I did without even thinking about it. But that was just a side benefit. And that is what I'm trying so hard to focus on, is that we can, as moms, as parents, we can be that solution for our kids' mental health struggles. But again, it's a side benefit, because all the benefits that come from learning to manage how you're thinking so that you're capable of managing your emotions changes everything about life. And in my instance, it's changed that I'm able to go and sit in an office for 10 hours tomorrow while being psychologically evaluated, while being questioned about my drinking habits, while being questioned about any struggles I have with my emotional life, and not bat an eye, not be nervous about that at all, because I don't have those issues anymore. And I mentioned in a video I made this week that I don't think I drank enough, that my health would have been impacted, that my different levels would show up in a way that kept me from donating my kidney. But I was so full of shame and embarrassment about drinking that I would never have offered, because I was afraid that people might discover it, that it might show something in my blood tests. So I start thinking about all these benefits that have come from learning to manage my mind, from learning to manage my emotions. I never could have anticipated that one of those benefits would have been my children's mental health improving. I certainly never could have anticipated that one of those benefits would mean that my dad got to get a kidney when he needed it, as opposed to needing to wait longer than he might have. So when I'm talking about the Mentally Strong Mom Method, and I'm inviting you to become part of the beta program, I'm inviting you to join the Mom Squad, which you can get to by going to momsquad.ashley.tube. That's my free online community. It is not just with this idea that we can become what our kids need to support their mental health. It is an invitation to change every aspect of your life using this formula of, I know how to manage my thoughts, therefore I know how to manage my emotions, therefore I can create any result I want in life. It can impact weight loss. You can learn to control urges with food, because you investigate those deeper thoughts that are driving that emotion, that urge. You can learn to completely change your habits around alcohol with ease, to the point where it just doesn't become an issue in your life anymore. You can learn to overcome insecurities if you're trying to build a business and show up on social media live, even when there's one viewer. Thank you for showing up, viewer. You can, again, change everything about your life however you want to. So I know that before I got involved in life coaching, I kind of rolled my eyes at the phrase. I thought it was kind of silly. I thought that the idea of having a life coach seemed a little bit ridiculous. Boy, I wasted a lot of time judging it instead of realizing the power of it. So, if any of these things are things that you want to change about your life, if you are a mom and you also want to help your child who's struggling, or you have younger kids and you want to prevent mental health from ever becoming a struggle, know that I'm inviting you to do those things, but that will merely be a side benefit. The bigger benefit will be the power that you gain to change any area of your life that you're hoping to change, that you'll be able to get results that you've never been able to get before in any area of your life. So again, I want to invite you to become part of this. If you're interested, you can join the Mom Squad by going to momsquad.ashley.tube, and that's just a free online community. You can reach out to me over DM on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, any of those places. You can email me at ashley@ashleyjangro.com, or you can begin filling out the application, which is at ashleyjangro.com/momsquad. Any of those methods will take you to getting more information about the program. Again, I'm looking for I was going to say 5 women to take this beta program, but I think we're down to 2 spaces now for that. So reach out. Let me know if you want to be part of it. Even if you don't, even if this is something that you're like, I might be a little bit interested in learning more about this, then please join me in the Mom Squad, ashley.momsquad.tube. I think I'm saying that wrong. It's momsquad.ashley.tube. And you can always find more information about new cohorts as they open up. Otherwise, I just invite you to follow me on Instagram. I am Ashley B. Jangro on Instagram. Or follow me on Facebook at Ashley Jangro. So any of those places, I always share all these strategies I've learned to do exactly what I just described, which is manage my thoughts so that I can manage my emotions, so that I can take the actions that I need to take to get the results I want. I will see you next week, same place, same time, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on Ask Ashley Live on either my YouTube or my Facebook channel. I look forward to seeing you in my groups and seeing you back here.